Hi everybody, Chris Titley here and welcome to Scoreboard.
This episode is powered by SwiftX, Australia's top-rated crypto exchange and proudly homegrown, just like many of the athletes and business leaders we feature on Scoreboard.
Hi, it's Chris Titley here. On today's episode of Scoreboard, the podcast, I'm joined in person by Jack Clayton. Jack, welcome.
Thanks for having me on, Chris.
Mate, we're sitting here on Thursday, the 11th of December 2025. How would you describe your 2025?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of an interesting 2025. If we move all the way back to, I guess, the start of the year, I felt like I was, I guess, performing okay in Shield cricket, but then actually around Christmas time, I had a bit of time because I wasn't in a big bash side and had a few chats with different people and then kind of worked out a few things that I wanted to work on going forward this year. And then I think I had a pretty good back end of my 2024-25 season, and we ended up making a Shield final. And I was lucky enough to get a few runs in that and a golden duck too. But then I've unfortunately lost that game, and it was a good off season. I just stayed in Brisbane, actually, got married over that time. So that was pretty cool. Came into this season, and from a cricketing perspective, from a Bulls perspective, we've done pretty well so far this season. I think at Christmas we're second in both the one day and the Shield comp, and we played some really good cricket. Probably not so much last game, but yeah, it's been a really enjoyable year. I've got to do some awesome things with both my cricket and outside of it too. It's been a great year for me personally.
What are the things where you potentially had to work on and why? And how have you gone in terms of refining?
Yeah, I sat down at the end of the 2024 year, and I thought I was averaging maybe low 30s at that point during the Shield season. And I just, to be honest, I was really sick of just being an average Shield cricketer, and not saying that I'm better than an average Shield cricketer now, but I wanted to be better than just averaging 30. I thought about what things that I could improve on. And I think the biggest thing was I was scoring a lot of 50s and 60s and 80s, but then not really going on with it and getting those big scores. And a bit of a mentor of mine's been a guy called Jared Turner, who
JT, one of the greats.
JT,
the great
JT,
university stalwarts. He's very good in the country. He's in Warwick, is he? No, Warwick.
Yeah, he's in Warwick now.
Used to run here at Ambrose Tracy.
Yes.
One of the greats, JT.
He's very good, and he's been fantastic for me. And he just said, I agree with him. I think it's just around your mindset stuff and how we can improve that. Because in the end, most people playing Shield cricket have a fairly high skill level. So it ends up coming between the ears. And he said, one of my heroes growing up has always been Mike Hussey, and I love watching him go about it. And he said, I'll set up a chat with you with him. And I said, how the hell are you going to do that, mate? You don't even know him. I don't know him. Anyway, lo and behold, a week later, he somehow teed up a chat with Mike Hussey, which I was pretty nervous about, but it was also one of the coolest experiences. And I was just chatting, and a lot of the things were so basic. It was just about around competing every ball, making sure you're 100% clear, making sure you're staying true to your processes. And they're all cliche stuff, but sometimes you just need to be reminded of those things, that how important they are, and sticking to that for as long as you can, and doing just that over and over again for long periods, especially in Shield cricket. And then I felt like what I did was I actually trained that. And that was the biggest difference. Was a lot of the times you go into the nets and you might be working on technique or something like that, but I was really trying to work on my processes and my mental clarity when I was going into the nets. And that may have meant that I nicked off 5 times, but if I was clear every ball that I was facing the nets, I felt like I was happy with that session.
How do you replicate the centre wicket with the nets and training, etc.? Because it's a different world.
Yeah, and I think that's where you can get stuck sometimes, is you're just going through the motions. The bowlers are coming in, you got sidearms throwing to you. So for me, it was really about slowing down the session and even sometimes stopping the bowler so that I could do my pre-ball routine in the net, which I don't think pleased them too much. But
what's your pre-ball routine? Come on.
My pre-ball.
Do you want to show us on the video?
I don't think I can really show you because it involves walking around. But basically, what happens is at the end of each ball, I'll mark my guard again. I'll walk away from the crease with my bat over my shoulder. I'll do a little bit of reflection on what just happened and how I'm going, and just checking with my mental headspace too, and see where I'm at, whether I'm amped up or whether I'm feeling quite relaxed or what it may be, and what I think I need to be in that situation. My headspace needs to be in that situation. Then I'll actually just stare off into the distance and try and clear my mind for a little bit and just relax. And I always have a song in my head that I'm singing, just to kind of take me away from the game, because if you want to bat for long periods, you can't concentrate for 6 hours at a time. So trying to really clear my mind and then come back, I mark my crease, I tap my bat twice, and I'll just say, watch the ball as the bowler's about to release the ball.
Yeah, I noticed that with what's his name, Jake Weatherald.
Yeah,
he was speaking. I wonder, does he say watch the ball as well? Do you know?
I think he says ball or something.
He's quite low, and you're like he's mouthing, and you're like, watch what and that's so the song, right?
Yeah,
was it the same song?
Always changes. Just depends what's on my Spotify playlist. Or
what is on your Spotify playlist? Did you rap? Did you get your rap the other day?
No, I'm definitely not a rap person.
No. Did you get your Spotify Wrapped?
Oh, I did see that come up, but I haven't looked at it yet.
Yeah, mate, so you'll get your top songs, the minutes, and the themes and all that sort of stuff.
I'd hate to see there'd be some pretty cheesy songs on there, I reckon.
How old are you, Jack? I should have done my research.
I'm 26.
Okay, so you don't go back to the 90s like I do.
Oh, I actually do a little bit. I don't mind my 80s and 90s music.
Like you got in your mind, like Roxette?
I'm really bad with like the name of the song and the artist. I just like listening to the music and then singing it. That's one of my worst things. My sister's got this game. It's like you play a song and then you've got to work out when a trivia kind of
the Spotify. I've heard it's pretty popular. It's good.
Worst
player. A couple of drinks too.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I'm not saying what type of drinks, by the way. I'm being very
just
political.
Lemonades, of course.
That's right. Late at night, lemonades, playing exactly. Spotify trivia. It's what we do in our 40s too, people. What a boring life we live.
I'm awful at that game, but I do like a bit of 80s and 90s music, that's for sure.
Yeah. But so then when you're getting your hundreds, right?
Yeah.
Is there a song that takes you back? You listen to it like I was listening to that in my head when I got 100.
Funny thing is, I generally listen to the song that I'm singing to on the way back home just to kind of relive it a little bit. But no, there's not necessarily a particular song that I'll go back and go, oh, that's the song that I got when I got 100 or whatever.
What about the Golden Ducks? You're like, I'm never listening to that song again.
I have got a few songs that I don't go back to.
Is it blacklisted? It's like the I was going to say about back in the day when people used to have a flutter and they'd see a horse that come last year, right? Never betting on that one again.
Yeah. Us cricketers are a little bit superstitious sometimes. So.
Okay, I'm going to touch on a serious topic there: superstition versus process.
Yeah.
Grey area.
It's a massive grey area, isn't it? Like, I think you want to. For me personally, with my processes, there's things that I can do, and nothing else can affect those processes. Or, like, for example, like normally I'll have a similar breakfast every morning when I play cricket. But I don't want to get stuck in having to have the same breakfast, because sometimes I might go to the shops and they might not have the things that I actually need. And if that's affecting where my mindset's at or my performance, it's not a great place to be in. So for me, it's probably more around the things that I can control, around my preparation and my match day stuff. So again, that's more like when I'm actually out in the middle, following those processes, and also things that I can control as much as I can, like what the day before the game looks like, whether that be what I do in the nets. I follow a fairly similar routine each day before the game, and generally with professional cricket, we're lucky enough that if the outdoor nets are rained on, then we have indoor nets, so we can do something similar. But yeah, it is a massive grey area, in the sense that for me, I don't want to get stuck in, okay, I have to do everything the exact same way to be able to perform, because if you do that and something doesn't go right, then you're probably not in the best mindset. Yeah,
I remember back in the day there was a rumor, and I don't know if it's a rumor or what's what they call it, old wives' tale, where like Matt Hayden, for instance, like obviously powdered up, etc., but he obviously someone may have nicked his box or something and he was in a furious and got a duck or something. It's like that because, so where's my box? I can't find it. I need it. Like kind of like, I don't know if that's true or not, but there'd be some people I'm sure that would get rolled up if you nicked their bat or they only had one glove in their bloody they're padding up and they're like, where's my glove? Where's my glove?
I think that would probably annoy me, to be honest. But I have heard other ones where I can't remember, it was some South African batter, I think, but he got his bat taped on the roof and was furious about it, but then went and got 100 every time someone had to tape his bat to the roof.
The motivations, yeah.
Yeah, I have had some other ones in the past where, like, I don't know why, but they almost get worse when you're scoring runs because you think about the things that you're doing and then you go, you're trying to replicate that. So at one point it was like, for me, every time I got runs, I had to change the grip on my bat, which I've got out of the habit of doing that now. But yeah, or wearing the same pair of undies or whatever that may look like. But I've tried to eliminate as many as I can. But yeah, sometimes they do creep in. Sometimes when you're scoring runs, they creep in more because you keep thinking about
keep doing this.
Exactly right.
Walking the same
way. It almost reaffirms what you're doing.
Yeah, right. And then when you, on the flip side, when you prepare for everything and you're like, all right, I'm feeling good and the music's good and I'm whatever, and then you just get a good one, you get a golden duck. How does that feel?
Yeah, not great. I think one of the biggest things I've tried to work on is reflecting on my innings and reflecting on my dismissal, but not necessarily.
A little feedback. I think it's because. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, that's right.
Like a little bit
crackly.
Yeah, a little bit crackly. That's right.
Is it this maybe?
No, I think it's the mic more than anything. Hold on. Yeah, try again.
Yeah, is that working?
Yeah.
That's better.
I don't know what was going on. Anyway, we'll keep going. So what was it? You're talking about, I'll do the question again.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And Jack, on the flip side, if you're feeling good and the music's going well and it's a good sunny day and you go out there and you just get a good one and you get out for a golden duck, how do you feel?
Yeah, not great. Something that I've got a lot of for some reason. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I've tried to work on is reflecting on my innings and my dismissal, but not overdoing it as well, because you can kind of get stuck down that path of thinking that you're doing everything wrong when, there's plenty of hundreds or that I've scored where, you get dropped or you nick off and the umpire doesn't give you out, and when you're on 10 or something, and that could very much change the day. Uzi said something to me once. He said, most hundreds that you score, you're going to have some luck involved in them. And I think that's really true. You do need luck in cricket. That's as much as you can follow the processes and everything, there is some luck involved. That's like any sport. But yeah, I think it's just making sure that you stay really leveled with your reflections on games, checking in to see that you're doing the things that you think are important to you scoring runs. And if you're doing those and, you may have not actually done anything wrong. You may have just got a good ball. So don't overthink that too much, but also try and bring yourself back and think, okay, if I was in that situation again, would there be anything that I do differently? And if so, what would those things be?
You mentioned before about being not just an average Shield cricketer, but in the start of this season, you're playing with international test players. They've come into the squads. They're warming up for the Ashes. A, how important was that or is that with you to be around those people? And B, what do they do differently that potentially that you want to do as well to get to that next level?
Yeah, it's obviously unreal getting to play with those guys. They're so experienced, but also they've been through the ups and downs of Shield cricket, and they've been where I've been. So you can draw on that as well. I think the thing, particularly Uzi and Marnus, do really well is, well, for Marnus, it's, I think, and Uzi for that. They both are very good mentally. And their ability to understand the game and work out how the opposition is trying to get them out and how they're going to score runs and how they're going to put pressure back on the bowler is second to none. They're obviously extremely skillful players as well. But there are, I think, playing Shield cricket now for four or five seasons. There's other batters in the country that are just as skilled or more skilled than them. But just the way that they apply themselves to their innings is incredible. And I think we've seen how well Marnus has been batting in Shield cricket, but also now Test cricket. And if you look at him last year compared to now, and he's talked about this in the media, so I don't think I'm saying anything out of turn, but just the way that he's gone about his game, like, yeah, he may have made a few technical changes, but in the end, like, his technique's very similar to what it has been for a lot of his career. It's probably just his mindset and the way he goes about it. He's looking to put pressure back on the bowlers, looking to score. And that's something that I take and I want to continue to improve on as well.
When it comes to batting time and long periods of time, it does become mental. I'm curious to know around the mindset, thinking you're like you got to 40 or 30 and you're like, okay, are you thinking about 100 or are you thinking about the next 10 or are you thinking about one? And what do these guys do when they get to 100 and the I suppose the dopamine kicks in or the relief or whatever it might be to then go face the next ball and go, right, I'm going to try and get it 200? Or is it like, oh, I'm pretty tired, I've got 100 and, snick one, I've still got 100, I'll get a standing ovation? Like, I'm just curious around that.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think every day, your mindset's in a different spot. So, like, for me, it's trying to be as adaptable as you can. And you can't control the thoughts that come into your mind, but what you can control is how you approach those thoughts. So some days, you might not be thinking anything because you're just in the flow of the game and you're in the zone and everything just is happening, and you might be on 40, but you might not even realize you're on 40. And then suddenly you're just away. And then other days, you might be on 30 and it's an absolute grind and you're just thinking about how I get my next run. Or, you may be struggling for runs, you get to 40 and suddenly you're thinking, oh, I'd really like 100. But then I think it comes back to what I talked about earlier, and understanding where your head is in that point and bringing yourself back to your processes and understanding what's important right now. And in the end, the most important thing is just facing that next ball and competing that next ball. So that's one of the things that I've been trying to do like over the last year is just keep bringing myself back to the present, keep bringing myself back to focusing on that next ball and competing as much as I can, because that's all I can do. As soon as I let myself get ahead of where we are now or thinking about a 50 or 100 or whatever it may be, that's when it can get dangerous. But in saying that, those thoughts, I'm not saying those thoughts don't come into my mind. They do. I think that's part of being human and natural.
And what about when you're facing international test bowlers in Shield cricket? Do you think about that as well?
Yeah, it's definitely something that people say play the ball, not the man, but it's easier said than done. I think it's something that I've had to work on over my whole Shield career, is when you go into a game and there are those international standard bowlers, not getting too caught up in that. And again, I'm sounding so cliche here, but just playing the moment as much as possible. In the end, those bowlers might bowl poorly for a spell or they might not. Like, we're all human and they might bowl really well. You've obviously got to be aware of their threats and how they are going to try and get you out and how they're going to bowl at you. But in the end, and this is something that, Johan Boat has been really big on as the Bulls coach, is that don't have any preconceived ideas going out there about what they're going to do. Just play what's in front of you as much as possible. And he talks about how Jack Clayton, the boys laugh because he always talks about it, but how he's just, before he batted, apparently he just stared at the wall because he didn't want to watch what the openers were doing or whatever.
Right. So like, you're coming in at number 6 and you're 4 for 5. He's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter because oh wow, it's seaming. You're like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly what his approach was I don't want to get caught up in what's going on out there. I want to go out there and I want to play whatever's in front of me and not take any preconceived ideas. And to be honest, I've definitely taken preconceived ideas into innings, into Shield cricket before, where you think, oh, the ball's seaming around or whatever it may be. And, I get out there and suddenly I'm already out before I'm out there, and you get a half volley first ball and you half push it or whatever it may be because you think it's going to seam back, where it's like, well, no, I could have just whacked that ball. So yeah, that's one thing that he's taken from Jacques, is just staring at the wall. But it's a good motto to not be, consumed by what's going on out there and just to play what's in front of you as much as you can, because that's all you can do in the end.
Yeah, absolutely right. And do you thrive on the excitement of playing really good bowlers and getting out there and saying, right, this is, or as well, maybe you need a total and you're batting and there's a fair bit of pressure like that WA game, like there's big moments out there. How are you with the big moments?
Yeah, I feel like they bring the best out of me in a weird way, and they really help me concentrate on the present. I think back to some of my best innings that I've played, and I think a lot of them have been under pressure. And it's funny, it's some, again, why are my best innings normally in that situation? Because all I can do is focus on what's happening right now and what my team needs me in that moment. And sometimes when the game's not as much on the line, or, where we might be 2 for 200 and I come in, you can kind of get a bit lapped. So how do I get myself in that mindset as much as possible when the game's under pressure, when it's not, so that I can still be performing when, it's 2 for 200 and there isn't the game on the line. But yeah, in the end, I think as sports people, we live for those moments, and we want to be, I know that I want to be the person that, gets our team into a winning position or gets us over the line. And it doesn't always work out. But I think you got to have the mindset of wanting to be in that situation.
Before we get on to some questions about you, Jack, I'm curious, Travis Head's gone up and down the order, and we've seen Steve Smith go up and down the order. Where do you like to bat, and like moving around all the time? Is there a particular spot, or are you just like, bring it on wherever?
I think in red ball cricket, I've found a nice spot at 3 and 4 over the last couple of seasons, which I enjoy, and it's always been where I've batted growing up. But in one day cricket, I've transitioned to the opening role, and I'm really enjoying that. It takes a little bit to get used to, but it's something that I've tried to embrace as much as I can, and it gives you good opportunities because the field's up. Obviously, there's a bit more swing on the ball and it might move around a bit more off the wicket. But, these are different opportunities, and I know that that's going to help me with my red ball game as well. So, yeah, for me in red ball, I think it's that 3 or 4 position at the moment. But that's not saying that it can't be something else potentially in the future.
Particularly the Australians are trying to work out their combo and the opening position for a while. And I'm just curious, as a batter, sort of not down the order, but middle order, that going, okay, can someone step up? And you've seen that with Simon Kadich in the past, and you've seen it with Shane Watson in the past in terms of opening, that they ended up finding their spot at the top, and maybe Travis Head as well. Yeah.
I think it just comes back to being open-minded and adaptable as much as possible. I don't think that, like, it would be amazing if that opportunity arose and, obviously you take the opportunity to bat anywhere in the Australian team. That would be so cool. But I also just want to focus on doing what I can do. I think as soon as my mind starts drifting towards playing for Australia or whatever it may be, that's obviously a goal.
Or getting 100 in the next game.
Exactly. Or it takes you away from what you actually need to be doing. So, yeah, that's obviously a dream to play for Australia, as any young cricketer growing up would say. But I think really, like, my focus is on scoring runs for Queensland right now. And if I do that, then, opportunities may arise in the future.
We've had a few of the Bulls players come on to this podcast, and it seems like there's an aura or element around this culture and this team this year, which is great to follow. Can you describe, I suppose, what you're thinking in terms of the team and how they're positioned, etc.?
Yeah, the team dynamics have been fantastic this year. We've got a real mix of old and young players, which I think is great because the old guys bring the experience to the team and the young guys bring the enthusiasm. It's been fantastic having, the likes of Huey and Hugo in the last game, and, Strakes coming through.
Tom Whitney,
obviously, and Herney's done fantastically well this year as well.
The chill, hey, he's chilled, isn't he?
Oh, how chilled is he?
Hey, he came in the hot seat where you are recently, and he sort of sits back, and I was like, geez, I need to notch it down a bit.
He's so chilled, but
slow my language down a little bit.
Yeah,
he gave us the hot tip that Marnus is going to get big wickets in the Ashes, and Marnus is a good bowler. Would you agree?
Yeah, sure. No, No, Marnus, to be fair, Marnus has done a lot of work on his bowling.
He got one over, I saw. In the last
Was
test.
it leg spin or pace? I didn't watch.
I did.
I was playing during
I was
it.
in the bar.
Marnus does love his bowling. To be fair, the great thing about Marnus is he wants to always be involved in the game, whether that be with bat, ball, or in the field.
Wicketkeeper, give me the gloves.
He would. He dead said if you said you're keeping the next game, he would be pumped about it. So, but that's he's just so competitive. He wants to be involved, and honestly, as captain, that's probably his greatest strength is how much energy he provides to the group. He's always positive. He's always trying to think about how we're going to win the game, how we're going to move the game forward. So that's fantastic to be around. And just even when you're batting with him, the energy that he brings to the crease, the running between the wickets. There's been plenty of times where I've been batting there and he's spraying the opposition to get himself up. The opposition is spraying him. It's quite a funny dynamic. Normally they're spraying me too because I've probably pissed them off while I'm fielding.
In the field, little touch points as I call them, little nudge points. You're a little nudger, are you?
Yeah, sometimes.
And then when you come
I think it's just more that apparently I'm a very annoying person, which is
come
probably
from
fair.
JT. JT was a nudger. Wasn't
Yeah,
it? No?
I think JT was way worse than what I was. Let's be honest. But I learned a few things from him, maybe.
There you go. Right, let's get on to the serious. No, it's not so serious part. It's the part that I always ask my guests, and the answers are so varied, which I love them. And it's the first one is the all-time favourite sporting moment that doesn't include yourself, something you can watch 1,000 times over.
Yeah, I think for me that was the premiership against Sydney for Lions. I was actually there.
Yeah, 2024.
When I would have been 5.
We haven't touched on your AFL career, but people have talked about that, so we don't need to talk about that. So let's go back to the Swans versus the Lions.
Swans versus the Lions. I was lucky enough to jag some tickets. We were actually down there for a one-day game against Victoria, and I thought, this would be pretty cool. Last time the Lions were in the granny was 2004, and I remember watching it on the couch with Mum because Dad was down at the game and wasn't the greatest against Port that one. But I couldn't really remember any of the 3-peat wins because I was only 4 or 5 years old at that point. Anyway, yeah, that was a pretty cool moment, and a lot of people say it wasn't a very close game, but that was actually one of the joys of it because I could just sit back, relax, and enjoy it. And I remember Eric Hipwood kicked that goal right in the pocket in front of us.
Did the Ackermanis. And I thought, this is the boys are on and they're going to win this game. So I was fortunate enough to go the year before, but wrong result, but cracking game. And I think they learnt a lot from that game too. A lot of the pain point. Big season coming up. We had Darcy Gardner on here recently.
Oh, really?
He was
he's a good man.
again, sort of like just a workhorse behind the scenes. I think, and I can't recall whether it was, but it was like his 11th or 13th season that they won their first title.
Yeah.
Amazing resilience.
Crazy.
And when he first joined with Fags, wooden spoon, 17th, 15th, I'm going, where am I going?
There was some dark days there for a while. And then
some dark days.
He's a great story actually because I think he did his ACL that year and then
and he missed the final. Yep.
He missed the final.
And got his thing this year.
Yeah, which was fantastic. So it was him. We just got to get one more next year for Link McCarthy because I think he was the last one.
Double ACL, unfortunately.
Yeah, poor guy. So
are you mates with some of the ones? Did you play with them?
I played with a couple of them when I played NEFL.
So people then go, what's NEFL? You go, that's like the VFL. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, well, it must be good.
I don't know if any of them remember me, just that bloke in the back pocket, not really getting a kick and trying to shut down their forwards. But no, there were some guys that I definitely played with going through the academy and stuff, and they're excellent players now, and no surprise as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so we've got a sponsor at Scoreboard, and that's SwiftX, and they're a sponsor of the Lions too, and also got the naming rights coming up for the Super Rugby Series, and they've got over 1.2 million users in Australia and New Zealand, and as part of our sponsorship, we run a little segment called the SwiftX Bucket List, and it's a sporting event that you haven't attended that you'd love to attend in line with the new campaign. Where can crypto take you? Can crypto take you? Where would crypto take you, Jack Clayton?
I think crypto would take me to, I think the Masters for me.
Oh,
that'd
yes.
be
After
pretty
this
cool
year,
experience.
it's like the Rory thing was just, you could, again, like sporting moment, you could watch 1,000 times over that 18th into the playoff hole.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And I mean, like, I play a little bit of golf, not very well at all. Let's just put it that way. But I think that or the Open would be a pretty cool sporting experience to go to. I think I've been to some Ashes tests overseas and Ashes here, and obviously the granny with the footy. So I think that would be a pretty cool experience. And
my question around the Masters is, would you, like, I don't know how it works, but would you follow a player? You reckon, or would you just sit on a hole, or would you walk just the holes, or what would you do?
Actually, I have no idea. I reckon it would be pretty cool if an Aussie was there to follow
the Aussie for a bit, and then
something.
maybe sit on the 15th and see everyone come through or something. But then everyone's already gone to the 18th in the last, so you can't get a seat because
exactly right.
You want to be one of those punters that do the 18th from 3 a.m. and go, right, finally saw the winning putt, like the Rory or whatever it might be.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a good point. I don't know. I hadn't thought that deeply about it because I don't know that it's happening anytime soon, I'll be honest. But I think if an Aussie was there, that would be pretty cool to follow an Aussie round, and then just somehow sneak my way on the 18th for the last putt.
That'd be so good. And Jack, we also have a partner in PocketSmith. PocketSmith is the personal finance app for the household CFO, the one keeping the budget in check, paying the bills, and kicking goals. Over 80,000 Aussies use PocketSmith to track their spending, see their net worth, and plan ahead. Jack Clayton, I am curious. Are you the CFO of the household? Do you budget?
Don't know what my wife would want me to say about this, but I think, I'm definitely
the spender, or is she the spender?
To be fair, it depends what it comes to. If it's anything to do with the backyard, I'm definitely a spender. Anything to do with the interior, she's the spender.
West Farmers profit upgrade due to Bunnings. Jack walks in.
That'd be great.
We got him here.
That's right. If any lawn companies want to give me
some
sponsorship, that'd be
we
fantastic.
could do that. We could do a shared agreement. We can give a good shout out here, and you can wear the t-shirt.
Happy to. I'm using Lawn Pride at the moment, so
hello. They might need a tag there.
Yeah, exactly. But no, in all honesty, I would probably be the person that enjoys doing that side more with the money. I do enjoy my barefoot investing.
Oh yeah. Yep. The Scott boat,
which I've got into. I read it ages ago when I was probably 18 or 19, and a lot of the principles didn't apply to me then because I didn't have a mortgage.
Yeah. No, you're married as well. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Married and a mortgage. You sound sound old.
Oh no, it is old.
I'm 44.
So a lot of debt ahead of me. A lot of years of debt ahead of me.
Don't worry about that stuff. So I'm not giving you financial advice by saying don't worry about that stuff. Of course, you got to worry about that stuff.
But I don't mind that stuff, and I've had a dabble in the stock market before, but all that money went into buying my house.
Yeah.
But nothing too
it's
major.
Called allocation of capital, mate.
I might just need some tips from you.
Some stock tips.
What stock tips have you got for me at the moment? 2.5
years out of it. So, but okay, all right. So all my friends about my age use this thing called Life 360. I think they're listed anyway.
Yeah.
I think they've had a pretty good run, but I'm not going to give financial advice about that. But everyone's talking Life 360. It's about Big Brother, or whatever you want to say, on your kids. You monitor them.
Yeah, I've heard about
car crashes and things like that. And when their kids get a bit older, you can see where they are. And
what's the stock price at the moment for that?
Mid-30s, I think. Anyway, it's been up to 50s and lower, but we can't really talk stocks. I'll get ASIC
a bit like Afterpay, and down.
Yeah, Afterpay. There you go. What a story that was back in the day. They started with their code AFY and then they changed to APT. Good story, that one, Afterpay.
Don't know it.
Don't know it. Anyway, still listed under a new name, Block. Take me back to my memories there. Some ups and some downs, don't get me wrong.
It sounds like the share market, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like a cricketer.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Jack, we also have a partner in PayLab. Experience the ultimate in savings and convenience with PayLab Rewards. The PayLab platform is designed to help your club and its members make the most of every purchase by offering instant rewards at over 140 of Australia's top retailers. And even better, your club earns a revenue share from every transaction. Jack, I'm curious, is there a club, potentially a cricket club, that you'd love to shout out to, and why?
Yeah, I definitely think it would have to be UQ Cricket Club. They were my junior club coming through, although I did spend 1 or 2 years at West when I was, I think, a Super 8s or something like that. But moved to UQ when JT, out of all people, started the junior club up there. And as I said, he's been a real mentor for me coming through the junior ranks, and then also Petey Clark as well, who's actually the he was the women's psychologist for the Australian team, and now he's working as the New South Wales Breakers coach, which is fantastic for him. But he was really influential for me, particularly with the mental side of the game, growing up and even now, to be fair. So those two people have been fantastic for me. And as a broader, I think UQ, in the end, we touched on my footy, but they were the reason that I ended up coming back to cricket and really why I'm and where I am now. So, yeah, I'm really grateful for what they've done for me and how they've supported me throughout the last 15 years or so.
Mate, that's brilliant. And as a former player at West, my son plays at Norse. UQ has always been the friendly club, obviously deeply competitive at the lower grades as well every year. Like, it's a good, full club in terms of not just a first grade team, etc. The depth is unreal, and some great memories with University versus West back in the day. And a lot of people changed as well from West to Uni during my era, Chris Teresi and Murray Proctor and a few different people. We go on forever. But one final question, the scoreboard moment. It's a moment in your life which is so vivid, visual, but from that moment, things changed.
Yeah, I think for me, the moment that changed, I don't know if it changed my life, but it probably helped me to get where I am today, was my debut for Queensland and getting 100 on debut. That was a pretty unreal experience. I remember I was batting with James Basley at the time, who I'm good mates with, and I remember we were out there together and I was batting and he just kept saying to me, process the whole time. And to get to share that moment with him when that happened, he gave me a big hug and he was so pumped. Like, that was awesome. And then I remember it was, I think it was a week or so before I don't know if it was my 22nd or 23rd birthday. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, Jemima, my wife, she actually made me a cake for my birthday, and she put up the scorecard on the cake.
On the cake?
On the cake. I've actually got a photo of it somewhere.
That's
I'll show
interesting.
you it.
My son's about to turn 13 and his high score is 71. Maybe we should do that as well.
Yeah, exactly. She even had the bowling figures, the score at the time, and James up there too. And I feel like that was a real moment for me that kind of, I guess it didn't change my journey that much because I was already on that journey, but really propelled it. And I've been lucky enough to play, Shield cricket ever since. So that was a really cool experience personally for me, and something that I'll never forget.
Mate, self-belief and also a little bit of pat on the back for all your hard work in that moment, some gratification for your efforts, which I think, people should realise that it's a grind behind the scenes, and when you get something that goes your way because you've actually practiced and, that you should be proud, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's there's a lot of ups and downs in cricket. There's a lot of low scores and a few high scores. I'm sure if you looked at most people, they'd have a lot more scores under 10 than they would over 100.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The 100s make it all worthwhile, right?
They do. Yeah. It's like golf, isn't it? When you hit 10 bad shots and then you hit that one good shot and it somehow draws you back to the golf course.
It's like podcasting in the interviews, mate. Jack, you've just refreshed me, mate. We've hit the jackpot here, mate.
Oh, very good.
Excellent.
But no, I mean, getting that gratification and reassurance that what I was actually doing can work at that next level was pretty cool.
Excellent, Jack Clayton. Thank you so much for being on Scoreboard, the podcast, and sharing a little insight into your journey, a little glimpse into your life as a professional cricketer. I wish you all the best for the next part of the summer and moving forward, and looking forward to supporting where I can.
Thanks for having me, Chris.